Grosvenor, Vice Chair Gavarone, Ranking Member Blackshear, members of the committee. My name is Ed Mulholland. I'm from Zanesville, Ohio, Senate District 31. The Declaration of Independence was an announcement to the world that the colonists could and would manage their own affairs. It was a statement establishing the right of individual liberty and local sovereignty. The Constitution followed, securing the liberty of the people by granting the federal government only 27 enumerated powers. James Madison, an author of the Constitution and fourth President of the United States, said it this way, quote, "The powers delegated by the proposed Constitution to the federal government are few and defined. Those which are to remain in state governments are numerous and indefinite." This division of power is called federalism, and it's critically important. As the power of the federal government expands, so expands the necessary regulation and control which steals the very liberties government is supposed to protect. Prior to the New Deal era, local economic activities such as labor, manufacturing, agriculture, and mining were widely understood to be under the purview of state governments. They were not considered part of interstate commerce. Then several Supreme Court decisions reinterpreted the Commerce Clause, enlarging the federal government's lawmaking authority at the expense of state sovereignty. With its newly expanded authority, government grew so much Congress was forced to defer a great deal of authority to newly created agencies, and today, the number of regulations created by federal agencies staffed by unelected bureaucrats dwarfs the number of actual statutes passed by our elected representatives. This reinterpretation of the Commerce Clause can be addressed with an amendment to the Constitution. Doing so will keep power in the states where it belongs and where our country's founders intended it to be. Reinterpretation of the General Welfare Clause has also contributed to the death of federalism. Originally, the General Welfare Clause was interpreted to mean that Congress could only spend money in service of its 27 enumerated powers. It could not spend money for activities on which states could spend money. For example, states have the authority to spend money on education, welfare, medical, and retirement programs. Accordingly, Congress could not spend money on those activities. Then, thanks to United States v. Butler in 1936, the floodgates were opened and Congress is permitted to spend money on essentially anything it wants. This reinterpretation of the General Welfare Clause can also be addressed with an amendment to the Constitution. Without action by the states to constrain federal overreach, we're on a slippery slope toward the concentration of absolute power at the federal level. Concentrated power that inevitably leads to tyranny and the loss of individual liberty. To preserve state sovereignty and the liberties of the people, we must restore federalism. SJR 3 calls for a convention to give states the opportunity to at least discuss this important issue.